Hello everyone. How are you all? I hope you all are good and happy. I know this is your exam time and that's why I'm going to start the last chapter of your accountancy and financial management of SEM 3, and that is your last chapter, conversion of partnership firm into the limited companies. Okay, now as we studied already, what is a partnership firm? Here the two or three partners are coming together and they are doing the business. If they want to convert it into the limited company, then what is the procedure, what will be the procedure, and how they are converting their firm into the limited companies? In this chapter we have to learn all these things. Now here, this is I taken a picture. You can see that in this picture all forms, concept, things, types of a working style, everything is actually converting. So that's why this chapter name is conversion, means we have to convert each and every business era, okay, in partnership firm into the limited company. That's why we are required to learn the skill, and how the process is going on we can learn in this chapter. So I'm starting with my introductory slide. As you people know me, I am Professor Zakira Matwankar from Sant Gadge Maharaj College of Commerce and Economics, and I am assistant professor in accountancy. Now I'm starting with a brief introduction. As a partnership firm has a certain limitation, is a limited capital, unlimited liability, inadequate managerial skill, etc. Due to this limitation, it is not possible for the firm to undertake the business on a large scale. As we know, we have a limited capital, we have a limited partnership, might be that there is a lack of skill, managerial skill. That's why if we want to enhance our business, and we have to do our business in a large scale, so that's why that is the best option. Here we convert into the partnership firm, we have to convert our partnership firm into the limited company. So hence it's become necessary to change the form of organization which is suitable for the large size operation. As we know that joint stock companies are most suitable for conducting the business on a large scale, as we already gave the many ideas and example about the joint stock companies, but hence a partnership firm may be converted into the limited company, and conversion of the partnership into a limited company is referred to a sale of a partnership business to the company. Here what the partnership partners have to do, they have to sell out their business, okay, or they have to convert their business into the limited company, and there is a long procedure. It is acquisition of partnership business to the limited company. In simple word, it is a purchase of partnership business by the limited company. This has also happened if the limited companies are interested to purchase a partnership business, so they will do the same thing, or might be the partnership firm itself convert, or you can say the partner itself convert their business into the limited company. Now see here, there are the two partners, and now they become a proprietor, or you can say the major shareholder of the company. So in here the we have the capital, limited capital in here into the limited company. You can say that our capital value is in a share, so you can say the equity shares or preference shares, or of course if you want a loan funds, you can take debentures also. Debenture means loan from public. And here the full procedure is totally different. You can convert your capital into the shares, okay, and you have to work your share are of course doing a good business in a share market, and you have to increase the wealth of the shareholders, and you have to earn more and more profit to enhance or you can say the wealth of the business, your structure of asset, everything. So in this chapter we are going to the new concept in the partnership firm to the limited companies. Now consequences of the conversion, what will happen if we convert the partnership firm into the limited companies? There are the two consequences of the conversion of partnership into the limited company. First, we have to dissolution of a firm. First we have to wind up our partnership firm, and then we have to formation of a limited company to take over the business of a firm, or to take over the firm by the existing company. So existing company can be convert their business, or might be some other limited company can take over the business of a partnership firm, might be both has happened. And what the problem we have to face when we are dealing with this conversion? First is on conversion of the partnership into the limited company. Following problem we have to deal with. First, we have to evaluate our assets and liability. Second, determination of purchase consideration, as we already learned in the last chapter what is a purchase consideration, but in this lecture also I will give you the small revision about the purchase consideration. Purchase consideration is nothing but the value of the market value of the firm. Disposal of assets and liability which is not taken over by the company. What will happen when the new company is not ready to take over the old assets and liability of a old company? Settlement of PC, distribution of share. Of course, whatever the value of the PC, the limited company pay that purchase consideration value in the number of shares, cash and debenture which is received by the limited company among the partners. Okay, now see, of course this picture is showing that is a time to change. Every thing in a world are changing according to the time, because we have to enhance ourselves, we have to upgrade ourselves. That's why the small partnership firm, if they want to enhance themselves, if they want to do the large scale business of operation, of course what they have to do, they have to convert their business into the limited company. And that is, of course, there is a time, if we you can say, if that is a right time on a right place. So this is very important. Benefit of conversion of a firm into a company. What are the benefits you are facing? See, when we are converting our firm into the limited company, there are the various benefits. Corporation has the following benefit. First is all the assets and liability just before the conversion become the assets and liability of the company. Okay, whatever the partnership firm property has become the property of the limited company. There is no stamp duty to the transfer of the business of the firm to the limited company. Then properties of the firm get vested into the limit company automatically, and there is no instrument to transfer to be executed. No capital gain tax is charged. That is a good benefit. When we are transferring the property into the limited firm, we don't have to pay any tax. Then goodwill and brand value of the firm is kept intact. The accumulated loss and unabsorbed depreciation of the firm is considered to be the loss and the depreciation of the company. Whatever the accumulated loss, of course that is if the company is taking the property, of course they are also bearing the loss of the partnership firm. The liability of the shareholder is limited, and the expansion and diversification become easy. The company can be funded by banks and financial institution, of course, and the capital base widen, and the company gets a legal status. Okay, if they are a company, of course they have to register according under the Companies Act 2013. So this is a very important and of course a good benefit to the when the partnership of firm is converting into the limited companies. And see, this picture is showing that a person, if they want to earn more on a large scale in a large scale business operations, of course we will according to our work we will get more and more money. So this picture is showing that we are enhancing our business, and of course we are touching a horizon, you can say a high level of a business operation. See, determination of purchase consideration. How we determine the purchase consideration? As I already explained what is a purchase consideration, it is directly come into your mind, and of course it is nothing but a money, the money value of the old firm. Okay, so the purchasing company acquire a certain asset from the vendor company. Here the purchasing company are taking some asset from the seller company. Vendor means of course the seller. जो ओल्ड फर्म्स है, पार्टनरशिप फर्म है, वो अपना बिजनेस सोल्व करते हैं कंपनी को, जो लिमिटेड कंपनी को, सो उसकी वैल्यू निकालते हैं असेट की. इट ऑल्सो टेक ओवर द लाइबिलिटी बिलोंगिंग टू द वेंडर कंपनी. जैसे वो असेट्स अगर लेकर जा रहे तो ऑफकोर्स दे आर बेयरिंग देयर लाइबिलिटीज ऑल्सो. इन एक्सचेंज ऑफ दिस टेक ओवर, जब ये बिजनेस टेक ओवर करते हैं तो उसके बदले में वो कुछ फिक्स अमाउंट जो है वो ये दो पार्टी के बीच में फिक्स होता है कि बस दिस इज द वैल्यू ऑफ द बिजनेस, एंड दिस एग्रीड प्राइस इज कॉल्ड अ परचेज कंसिडरेशन. It is the amount agreed to be paid by the purchasing firm to the vendor firm. Okay, that is a simple thing. Now methods of purchase consideration into the conversion. So in amalgamation I taught you the 4 method. Here there are the 3 method: net asset method, next is your lump sum method, and third is your net payment method. Okay, now what is a net asset method? As we know already, we done in the amalgamation. According to this method, purchase consideration value of the net asset agreed to be taken over by the purchasing firm, and it is calculated as a formula. See, this is the formula. Whatever the agreed value of asset taken over, we have to deduct this value from the we have to deduct the liabilities taken over at the agreed value, and whatever the amount we will get, you will get your purchase price, your purchase consideration. Net payment method. Now, what is a net payment method? Under this method, whatever the PC value is calculated by the net asset method, that has to be paid by the limited company in the form of equity shares, preference shares, debenture of the company, and cash. This is the three mode of payment. It is aggregate payment made the specified form, shares or debenture, or in cash. So it is also include payment on behalf of the firm. Okay, we have to pay to the firm, and of course to whom we have to pay? We have to pay to the partners, pay to the creditors directly to the company, or the payment of the dissolution expenses. Shares and debenture may be issued at par, at premium also. That is depend upon the limited company what they want, and PC is calculated at the issue price. Okay. So, if as per given detail purchase consideration cannot be calculated by the net payment method, then it should be fixed up with a net asset method. Whatever the amount we are getting from the net asset method from the PC, then this amount they have to pay through the net payment method. Okay. So, you can say that payment in cash, issue of equity shares, preference shares, debentures, you will get the PC price what we have to calculate into the net asset method. Now, the next is lump sum method. As I same in a certain cases the agreement conversion provide for the lump sum price. If the company don't want to calculate the asset value, liability value, they will give you the lump sum price of a company according to the market value of a business, and that such case the purchase PC is readily given, and hence the question calculation of purchase consideration does not arise. We don't have to calculate. The company offer you a huge amount that if suppose I want to buy if I want to buy some business at 1 crore rupees, suppose I am giving the lump sum amount, so that is okay. So here we don't have to calculate. So according to these methods, PC values are actually giving to the partnership firm, and it gives ideas that grow your small business. Okay, and we have to convert our business into the limited company. This is the main goal. And here we have to, our main goal is, and the main objective of the conversion, that we have to earn more, we have to go in upward direction. Our profit margin, of course, we have to earn more and more in proceeding years. So that is our main goal according to the conversion. See, accounting procedure, quickly I am just going through the procedure. Here transfer of assets and asset to the realization account. First, when we have to dissolve the firm, we have to maintain the realization account. The same procedure amalgamation what we did in the realization account, we have to do the same thing. So first we have to transfer all the book value of asset to the realization account debit side. So realization account debit to asset account. Then similarly liability we have to transfer into the credit side. So liability account debit to the realization account. Third, PC value is given by the limited company, so limited company account debit to realization. Next, asset taken over by the partners. If asset is taken over by the partner, of course partners capital account debit to realization, and if the asset taken over by the not taken over by the new firm, of course we have to sell out that asset, so we are getting the money, so bank account debit to the realization account. Recorded unrecorded asset means asset account debit, we have to record it to the partners capital. Then realization, here we are recording and here we are realization of recorded asset. अगर हमने कुछ asset अगर बेचा है और हमने इसको record नहीं किया है तो we have to record it. Bank account debit to asset account. Then payment of liability which is not taken over, of course had to pay by the old firm, so that's why realization account debit to bank. We have to record the unrecorded liability, we have to record, of course this has to be recorded under the partners capital, so partners capital account debit to liabilities. Next is the payment of unrecorded liability. Suppose we have to if already we have paid some liability and we are not recorded, the entry has to be made, and that is liability account debit to bank. Liability assumed by the partner. Suppose liability is assumed by the partner, then the entry will be realization account debit to partners capital if they want to pay that. Realization expenses if paid by the old firm, then realization account debit to bank. The old firm bank account has to be paid this. Whatever the profit we are getting from the realization account is has to be debited to the partner's capital, and whatever the loss we are bearing, then partner's capital account debit to realization. Whatever the accumulated losses, profit, or you can say the reserve, we have to distribute in the profit sharing ratio to the partner's capital or current account. So reserve account debit, profit and loss account debit to partner's capital account. And accumulated losses, of course, has to be bear by the partners. So partner's capital and current account debit to profit and loss account. If we have to settle the PC value, I already told you okay, we have the limited company will pay us in the form of shares, debenture and preference shares or cash. So whatever the shares and debenture, equity share account debit, preference shares account debit to debentures into the limited company. And final adjustment is if the credit balance is there, the partner's capital account debit to cash, and if there is a debit balance, then cash account debit to partner's capital account. So the next entry is the account for the expenses of realization. If there is a realization expenses paid by the firm, means old firm, partnership firm, realization account debit to cash. But if the expenses are borne by the company, no entry has to be made in the old firm, in the books of old firm. And if the expenses are paid by the company, means new firm or new company, limited company, it is included in the PC value. Whatever the PC value, it has to be, but no entry should be made into the old firm, because the old firm is not paying. So why should we enter into the in the books of the old firm? Okay. And the last one is to pay the partner's loan. If the partner loans are there in the partnership firm, how this loan has to be paid? See, one condition is that they have to pay the cash. Limited company has to be paid the cash amount. So partner's loan account debit to cash. If they have to pay the interest, of course realization account debit to cash, because old firm is able to of course pay the interest. If any discount on loan of the repayment, the partner is getting that discount, so partner's loan account debit to realization. And if the loan is paid by the new company, then the company, what they will do, they will give the shares or debenture to that partner instead of amount, or so by that method they will pay the loan to the partners. So partner's loan account debit to share or a debenture account. So these are the methods in a conversion. See, this is the performer of the realization account, as I always also taught you in a journal entry, and that has to be converted into the ledger. Now distribution of shares and debenture to maintain the mutual right, how to distribute it. So see, if the partner may desire to maintain their mutual relationship with the when they cease to be a partner of the firm, in other words they are likely to have the earning of the purchasing company. मीन्स अगर सपोज अगर मैं ओल्ड फर्म में पार्टनर हूँ और आई वांट टू कंटिन्यू द बिजनेस विद द न्यू फर्म और विद द लिमिटेड कंपनी, सो व्हाट एवर माय म्यूचुअल राइट्स, ओके, सो दैट इज़ टू कॉम्पनसेट द सैलरी. इफ़ सपोज मैं पार्टनर हूँ ओल्ड फर्म की और मैं सैलरी अर्न कर रही हूँ, तो उस वक्त मुझे किस तरह से सैलरी मिलेगी. सो द पार्टनर विल टेक अप द एम्प्लॉयमेंट इन द कंपनी, दैट इज़ अ वन केस. To compensate for the interest on capital, if I am getting the interest on capital, so of course the preference shares उनको issue किया जाएगा और उनको उसके dividend मिलेंगे. Then to compensate for share of profit, if अगर partners को share मिलता है profit का, तो उनको equity shares issue करना पड़ेगा limited company को partners को, and they are getting the profit sharing ratio. एंड टू कॉम्पनसेट फॉर द इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन, अगर इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन भी पार्टनर को मिल रहा है तो उसको कॉम्पनसेशन के लिए उनको डिबेंचर इशू किए जाते हैं जिसमें उनको रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट मिलता है. सो दीज आर द things here. The changes has taken place from the partnership firm to the limited companies. Accounting in the books of the limited company. Limited companies में किस तरह से journal entry या procedures होते हैं accounting के. First, whatever the asset value has to be debit to the liabilities and to the vendor firm, that is your purchase consideration, and of course ये taken over value रहेगी, agreed value रहेगी assets की. Any difference of course will get the treated as a goodwill or a capital reserve. जब हम PC सेटल करते हैं तो हम वेंडर कंपनी जो है पार्टनर्स को शेयर्स देती है, डिबेंचर कैश और प्रीमियम पे देती है. So the entry will be vendor firm, matlab new company, limited company account debit, that has to be PC value, then share value, debenture, cash or premium. And the next is payment of realization expenses if taken place. अगर new company pay कर रही है realization expenses, तो goodwill account debit to cash. Okay, so these are the accounting procedures. Special point when we are converting into our firm into the limited companies. First, हमारा जो cash और bank जो value है, of course we have to open the cash account, so the balance will be to transfer into the cash account only. असेट नॉट टेकन ओवर, अगर कुछ असेट हम नहीं लेकर जा रहे हैं, ठीक है, सो न्यू कंपनी नहीं लेकर जा रही है, सो अगर वो या तो दो पॉसिबिलिटी होती है, या तो हम उसको सोल्ड आउट कर देते हैं, या हमारे न्यू पार्टनर जो ओल्ड पार्टनर्स हैं वो उसको लेके चले जाते हैं. fictitious assets है, there are actually the loss, of course they has transfer into the partners capital account into the profit sharing ratio. अगर कोई लाइबिलिटी नहीं लेकर जा रही है लिमिटेड कंपनी, सो ऑफ कोर्स दे हैज टू बी बेयर बाय द पार्टनर इन द प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग रेशियो और डिस्चार्ज बाय द फर्म. यू कैन से फर्म पेमेंट करता है उसका. डेप्रिसिएशन फंड जो हमारे पास ऑलरेडी रहता है, सो दैट शुड बी क्रेडिटेड टू द रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट एंड इट इज टेकन ओवर और माइट बी इट इज taken over by the company. RDD value, if the specific process provision which is credited to the realization account because it is a part of a liability. Then worthless asset, ऐसे कुछ asset है जिनका कुछ value नहीं है, तो this is actually the loss which has to be debited into the partner's capital account into the profit sharing ratio. Agreed value and book value. Agreed value is the we have to calculate for the procedure of PC, and book value that has to be transferred into the realization account. Take over liability, taken over liability, अगर हमारा न्यू फर्म या न्यू कंपनी अगर हमारे यहाँ liability लेकर जा रहा है, so it has to be transferred to the realization account and it is deducted from the value of asset, you can say. Okay, and it should appear into the balance sheet of the purchasing company because new company वो लेकर जा रही है limited company. And discharge of liability, if the payable it is payable through the firm, अगर न्यू पार्टनर ओल्ड फर्म जो है अगर उसको पे कर रहा है, द कंपनी पे सफिशिएंट मनी टू पे द लाइबिलिटी एंड अमाउंट पेड बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ द पीसी वैल्यू. मगर वो पैसा उसको कौन देता है? लिमिटेड कंपनी देता है. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ द PC and it should not be shown into the realization account. Okay, शेड्यूल 3 एट अ ग्लैंस. यहाँ पर जो है आप लोगों को जो आपका बैलेंस शीट बनाना पड़ेगा बिकॉज वी आर कन्वर्टिंग इनटू द लिमिटेड कंपनीज. तो हमारा जो टी फॉर्मेट है जो हम पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म में बनाते थे वो यहाँ नहीं बनेगा, बल्कि किस फॉर्म में बनेगा? अब शेड्यूल 3 बनेगा हमारा. हमारी जो बैलेंस शीट बनेगी वो शेड्यूल 3 फॉर्मेट में बनेगी. जस्ट क्विक फॉर्मेट इसका देख लेते हैं. हमारी जो बैलेंस शीट है दैट हैज़ टू बी डिवाइडेड इनटू टू पार्ट एज वी नो, that is liabilities and assets. So first I am discussing with the liability. See, your liabilities को कहते हैं equity and liability because now the equity shares are the part of the liability. This is divided into 4 parts. First, shareholder fund. Second, share application money. Third, non-current asset and non-current liability and current liability. Now how to calculate shareholder fund? Shareholder fund is divided into the 3 parts, that is share capital, reserve and surplus, money receive against share warrant. जब शेयर इशू होते हैं तो शेयर वारंट हमको मिलते हैं तो उसके अगेंस्ट जो मनी रिसीव होते हैं वो इसकी टोटल वैल्यू रहती है. सो शेयर होल्डर फंड ये तीनों को मिलाकर जो बनता है. शेयर एप्लीकेशन मनी अमाउंट जो है डायरेक्टली दिया होता है ना. हाउ टू कैलकुलेट द करंट नॉन करंट लाइबिलिटी. नॉन करंट लाइबिलिटी में आते हैं हमारे लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग्स एंड डिफर्ड टैक्स लाइबिलिटी जो ऑलरेडी हमको पे करनी है. देन अदर लॉन्ग टर्म लाइबिलिटीज विच इज मोर देन 1 ईयर एंड लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोविजन विच इज ऑल्सो मोर देन 1 ईयर. सिमिलरली शॉर्ट टर्म बोरोइंग विच इज विद इन अ ईयर. Then trade payables, here it is included creditors and bills payable, other current liability, and the last is short term provision. So see, this is your liability side, and the next is your asset side, which is divided into 2 parts. First is your non current asset and second is your current asset. Non current asset means fixed assets. Of course, fixed assets include tangible and intangible. Then non current investment, then deferred tax asset which we have already paid, then that is actually prepaid, and long term loans and advances which is already we are given, not taken, ठीक है, which is more than 1 year, and other non current assets value. Now what is our current asset? As we know, there is a current investment which is within a 1 year, for 1 year. Inventories is your stock. Trade receivable means your debtor and bill receivable, and cash equivalent, whatever the amount of cash, bank balance. Then short term loans and advances जो हमने 1 साल के लिए किसी को दिए हैं, and the last is other current assets. So these are the schedule 3 format. See, I'm just giving you the pro forma, whatever the I show in a tree diagram, that has to be shown into the balance sheet. See, here I have to make a 3 columns: particulars, notes to account, whatever the calculation we have to do into the notes to account, and figure of the current year. यहाँ पर previous year में performa है, but we don't have to write here. Okay, so mostly हमको 3 columns ही बनाने हैं. इक्विटीज एंड लाइबिलिटीज में मैंने ऑलरेडी 3 पार्ट्स बताया आपको: शेयर होल्डर फंड, रिजर्व एंड सरप्लस, एंड मनी रिसीव अगेंस्ट द एडवांस. इसका जो है हमको नोट्स टू अकाउंट बनाना है. साथ में हमको दूसरा पार्ट आता है हमारा शेयर एप्लीकेशन मनी, यहाँ पर कैलकुलेट करना है. नॉन करंट लाइबिलिटीज जो मैंने आपको अभी ट्री डायग्राम में बताई है, उसको यहाँ पर इसकी वैल्यूज लिखना है, एंड करंट लाइबिलिटीज. तो इस तरह से ये 4 पार्ट्स जो है हमारे डिवाइड हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, अब फर्स्ट आता है शेयर होल्डर फंड, जिसमें आता है शेयर कैपिटल. शेयर कैपिटल का जो वैल्यू है हम कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे, जिसमें इशूड कैपिटल आता है, जिसमें से वी हैव टू डिडक्ट कॉल इन एरियर्स. देन वी हैव टू ऐड द 4 फीचर्स ऑफ शेयर्स. दिस इज योर टोटल वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर कैपिटल, वी हैव टू राइट हियर. देन रिजर्व एंड सरप्लस. रिजर्व एंड सरप्लस में ऑल रिजर्व्स, ओके, एंड ऑल द प्रॉफिट्स, और जितने भी हमारे जो ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं हम रिजर्व, वो क्या हो जाएंगे, लेस हो जाएंगे. सो वॉट एवर द फाइनल वैल्यू वी हैव टू राइट हियर. मनी रिसीव अगेन एडवांसेस, ये टोटल अमाउंट दिया रहता है, तो वी डोंट हैव टू कैलकुलेट. नाउ द नेक्स्ट इज योर current liability. Share application money is all pending allotment. This amount is also given by the in the question. नेक्स्ट इज नॉन करंट लाइबिलिटी. नॉन करंट लाइबिलिटी में पहला आता है आपका लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग्स, which is bank, other deposit, deferred term liability deposits, whatever the loans and deposit which is more than a year. Here we have to calculate the final value and we have to write here. Similarly, other long term liabilities, then long term provisions and short term borrowings, ये सब चीज़ें इसमें include होती है, and the final amount we have to write here. So these are the calculations. Okay, now the next is your current liability. See, trade payables, that is trade payables, that is creditor and bill payable का value we have to calculate right here, final amount. Other current liability, see, all these are the other current liability we have to calculate into the notes to account. We have to write the final value here. Similarly, the short term provision also. So these are the liability side, and we have to maintain the long notes to account. See, this is your notes to account का परफॉर्मा. इस तरह से आपको साइड बाय साइड बैलेंस शीट के साथ आपको आपका नोट्स टू अकाउंट भी बनाना पड़ेगा, एंड वी हैव टू गिव द नोट्स का नंबर. देन आई एम डिस्कसिंग असेट. असेट में पहले आते हैं हमारे नॉन करंट एसेट, विच इंक्लूड्स फिक्स एसेट, टेंजिबल, इंटेंजिबल, कैपिटल वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस, इंटेंजिबल एसेट अंडर डेवलपमेंट. देन नॉन करंट इन्वेस्टमेंट, डिफर्ड टैक्स इन्वेस्टमेंट, लॉन्ग टर्म लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस, एंड अदर नॉन करंट एसेट. ऑल दिस आर द फिक्स एसेट, इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द फिक्स एसेट्स हमारे, ये सॉरी नॉन करंट एसेट्स के पार्ट हैं. एंड सेकंड इज योर करंट एसेट, विच इंक्लूड, मैंने पहले ही इंट्रोडक्शन दिया है इसका ट्री डायग्राम में. करंट इन्वेस्टमेंट, इन्वेंट्रीज, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent, short term loans and advances, and other current assets. So here this is the notes to account. जो हमारे tangible assets आएंगे, as we know, land and building, इनमें से हमको net depreciation value माइनस करके इसकी final value लिखकर यहाँ लिखना है हमको. देन intangible में हमारे goodwill, brands, trademarks, ये जितने भी intangible आते हैं, you have to take a look, और जो फाइनल वैल्यू है वी हैव टू राइट. इतना सब कुछ नहीं दिया रहेगा आपके क्वेश्चन में, सम अमाउंट इज गिविंग, बट अकॉर्डिंग टू द परफॉर्मा आई एम गिविंग यू द आइडिया अबाउट द परफॉर्मा. आई हैव टू शो यू के विच टाइप ऑफ द इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स आर देयर. देन कैपिटल वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस अमाउंट विल बी गिवन, इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स अंडर डेवलपमेंट ऑफकोर्स अमाउंट विल बी गिवन. नाउ नॉन करंट इन्वेस्टमेंट जो होगा आपका, जो 1 ईयर के लिए होता है, अगर वो 1 ईयर के लिए है तो यू हैव टू राइट द टोटल वैल्यू वो ईयर. डिफर्ड टैक्स एक्सपेंसेस का वैल्यू दिया रहेगा नेट. लॉन्ग टर्म लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस जो है आपके, ये सब होते हैं, इसका फाइनल वैल्यू यू हैव टू राइट हियर. अदर नॉन करंट एसेट्स का भी वैल्यू जो है आपको दिया रहेगा, जिसमें ये सब आते हैं अदर नॉन करंट एसेट्स में. सो वी हैव टू राइट हियर करंट इन्वेस्टमेंट जो 1 ईयर के लिए अगर हमने किसी कोई चीज़ में, इन सब चीज़ों में, इक्विटी, प्रेफरेंस, गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी में अगर इन्वेस्ट किया है तो वी हैव टू राइट हियर. हमारे स्टॉक्स जो एज वी नो, रॉ मटेरियल, स्टोर्स, फिनिश गुड्स, वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस, जो भी वैल्यू रहेगी वी हैव टू राइट हियर. ट्रेड रिसीवेबल में आते हैं हमारे डेटर्स, जिसमें से आरडीडी लेस होता है इन बिल रिसीवेबल का टोटल वैल्यू वी हैव टू राइट. कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट, शॉर्ट टर्म एडवांसेस एंड लोन एंड अदर करंट असेट. ये आपको क्विकली आप इसको देखिए परफॉर्मा को, और यहाँ पर हम कैलकुलेट करके इसका फाइनल वैल्यू लिखते हैं. सो दीज आर द असेट वैल्यू. सी मैंने यहाँ पर ट्रेड रिसीवेबल के साथ यहाँ पर आपको बताया है कि नेट असेट किस तरह से करते हैं. सो नेट असेट जो है आपका जो भी असेट का वैल्यू रहेगा उसमें एडिशन हुआ है तो हम उसको ऐड करेंगे. अगर हम उसको डिस्पोज कर रहे हैं तो वी हैव टू डिडक्ट द डेप्रिसिएशन वैल्यू एंड देन वी हैव टू राइट द फाइनल वैल्यू ऑफ असेट. सो इस तरह से जो है हमारा नोट्स टू अकाउंट दिखेगा. देखिए ये हमारा टोटल नोट्स टू अकाउंट दिखेगा, और ये मैंने इसको कंटिन्यू किया है यहाँ पर, देखिए 17. ठीक है. सो दिस इज द नोट्स टू अकाउंट ऑफ द असेट. साइड बाय साइड हमको ये भी बनाना है जैसे हम लाइबिलिटी का बनाएंगे. सो अमालगमेशन वेस्ट कन्वर्जन, देर आर द सम इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दैट आई हैव टू गिव यू, जिससे आपको पूरा आइडिया आ जाएगा कि अमालगमेशन और कन्वर्जन में क्या फ़र्क है. देखिए मर्जर में 2 फॉर्म्स जॉइंटली दे आर टुगेदर डूइंग द बिजनेस, बट यहाँ पर हम कन्वर्ट करते हैं पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म को लिमिटेड कंपनीज में. ना फॉर्मेशन, यहाँ पर न्यू फॉर्म फॉर्म होता है, न्यू कंपनी फॉर्म होती है. एग्जिस्टिंग ऑफ बोथ फॉर्म इज लॉस्ट बिकॉज न्यू फॉर्म पूरा मर्ज होकर बनता है. एग्जिस्टिंग ऑफ अ फॉर्म टेकन ओवर इज लॉस्ट. ओके. सेटलमेंट ऑफ पीसी, देयर इज नो सेटलमेंट ऑफ पीसी वॉट एवर द अमाउंट वी हैव टू गिव. यहाँ पर सेटलमेंट होता है लिमिटेड कंपनी में इन द फॉर्म ऑफ शेयर्स, डिवेंचर और कैश. ओके. बैलेंस शीट जो है वी हैव टू ड्रॉ एज पर द पार्टनरशिप एक्ट, बट हियर वी हैव टू ड्रॉ अकॉर्डिंग टू द शेड्यूल 3 टू कंपनीज एक्ट 2013. डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ शेयर्स एंड डिबेंचर, क्वेश्चन डज नॉट अराइज हियर बिकॉज यहाँ पर शेयर्स इश्यूज नहीं होते, मगर यहाँ इशू होते अकॉर्डिंग टू द among the partners we have to show. Okay, we have to distribute. So I hope by this explanation you understand the concept of the conversion, which is very very important chapter, and it will continue into the next sem also. So please go through it, go through the schedule 3, which is an important part. See the conversion, how to convert it, what is the accounting procedure. If you have any doubt, please write in a comment box. I will definitely solve your queries. By that time, have a good day, have a nice time. Bye everyone.